I'm Annie Miller with Fit Design by Annie, and today we are going to go over squatting and the tail tuck. This is one of the most common mistakes that I see in squatting, and so I want to go over why that happens and what we can do to fix that. And I am speaking today from a personal experience. I had a pretty bad disc injury a few years back, and my chiropractor completely reworked my squat stance, the width, how I turn my toes out, and really just what I think about during my squat. So today I want to share that with you. It is effective for a bodyweight squat, a dumbbell squat, front squats, back squats, literally any squat. So today you are going to determine what squat stance works best for you, and you're going to share it with me. Alright, so two things that are going to determine your squat depth and how comfortable you are in that squat depth is your hip mobility and your ankle mobility. So when I was first squatting, my feet were super narrow, right underneath my shoulders, and my knees were out really far. That is about as far as I can squat now in that position. Why I had the disc injury is because I was squatting this low, but dropping my ass to the grass, like so. Feet shoulder width, straight forward, driving my knees out as hard as I can. Does this look good to you? No. Looks like a back injury to me. So, what did my chiropractor do? He had me widen my feet quite a bit, almost to a powerlifting stance, and my feet turned out just slightly, 10 to 15 degrees. From there, so comfortable. You guys, I cannot tell you. I can sink into my hips, drive my knees out so much more, which allows me to stay super stable in that squat position. So from the side, nice little comparison here. My toes are turned out 10 to 15 degrees, and my legs are much wider than my shoulders. My chest stays up, nice and tall, which if I was doing a back squat would keep the bar over the center of my foot, which is where we want it to be. And I can feel the tension in my glutes back here. They're nice and engaged. I get past parallel and my back stays neutral, which is so important when you're squatting. So it might be that you can squat with your feet super narrow. It might be that you need to have your feet narrow and turn your toes out a little bit. No matter what, just make sure that your knees are tracking in line with your toes so your knees aren't caving in. And you also don't want your toes turning out more than 15 degrees. It's just really hard for you to keep your knees out over your toes, typically, when they turn out more than 15 degrees. It helps if you look in a mirror or if you videotape yourself so that you have some sort of visual feedback. It can just be really hard to feel whether your tail is tucking or not, so make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror or take a video of yourself so that you have some sort of feedback. So go ahead and either implement the squatting, playing with the squatting in your workouts or in your free time. Just look at your stance, play with your stance, make it wider, make it more narrow, and see what feels best for your body. Because yes, we all have the same anatomy to some extent. We all have the same parts, but we are definitely put together just a little bit differently. And if I would have known 6 years ago that I needed to squat with a wider stance, it would have made my life so much easier, and it also would have saved me a disc injury. So I'm not a doctor, but I want you to learn from my experience. Pay attention to your body, do what works right for you. You don't have to move one way because we are not all made the same. So play with your squat. I want you to comment in the Facebook group what squat stance worked for you, what felt good. Feel free to comment anything you noticed while you were doing it, and always ask questions. So obviously these videos cover just the surface. If you want to go deeper, ask me a question. I love talking squats, and I will see you in the next video.